What's a feature that doesn't currently exist that you would love to see in a car someday? A U-turn signal. Fucking brilliant. If only people use their regular turn signals. Yes. That and I'm following the car in front of me signal. When my unit shut down during the 2013 drawdown, we had a bunch of stuff that was going to get tossed into the dumpsters if nobody wanted it. There was a pair of convoy ahead and convoy follows flags to tie onto vehicles, and I took them. Years later, when we moved across the country and had both of our vehicles and a U-Haul all driving 2k miles on I-90, we used them. Worked like a charm. People left us alone. People still wouldn't use it. I want all four wheels to turn completely 90 degrees, so we can side roll into street spots between cars, rather than parallel parking. And the car's cameras and sensors can tell me if I fit. I mean, the Hummer AV has something kinda like that. Yay, the crab walk. I think there is a car available now or soonish that will have this. Can't remember what though. The new electric Hummer has a crab walk mode. Not quite 90 degrees, but all four wheels steer the same direction in that particular mode. The Arkham Knight Batmobile tank mode. This is there. It's called four-wheel steering. Other kinds of horns. A polite honk. A warning honk. A honk for every mood. Yes, this. A small courtesy horn button for the go-ahead hey you saw good beeps. And a large central diesel locomotive horn button for the hey asshole. I was coming to write this. I mean, I could install a compression system in my truck to put in the train horn, but that's more money, work, and being a jackass I don't want to do. Report this clown. That's pretty much meant to be the use of the horn everywhere, isn't it? Making other road users aware of your presence. Mark Ruber did it. Check out his YouTube video. I need this right now. There was a brief moment before NHTSA stepped in where Teslas could have custom horns while in motion. It was glorious uploading MP3s for specific usage. I've always wanted a horn with a little lever so you could bend the note like a harmonica. Ho-oh-wow-wow-wow-o-n-k. I mean, it exists. Polite honk is just a quick tap. Warning honk or angry honk is you put your whole hand into it. People would still get insulted that someone honked at them. I've seen road rage incidents over at FFS. Lol. Honestly, that would be cool. Maybe not horns though. Maybe some other sound. It's hard to communicate on the road with other cars. The old Chevy Volts had this. Electric cars are so silent that pedestrians often can't hear them, so there's a cute like "hey buddy, I'm right behind you" horn you can use when someone is walking in front of you. Two bubble domes, one in the front, while the one in the back is for quarreling kids, and comes with optional restraints and muzzles. An engine sound causes people to think the world's coming to an end. 3 horns that play La Cucaracha. It should also have shag carpeting, tail fins, and a metal bowler as a hood ornament. You can never find a horn when you're angry. How much would this monstrosity cost? $82,000 at least. I'm ruined. Or something that would have that effect but with a button, like the frosted glass in secure conference rooms. They do have that. Glass that turns opaque when you put a current through it. But do they have this for cars? Many luxury cars have it in the sunroof. The McLaren Speedtail also uses it in the top part of the windshield to replace the need for sun visors. Really? That's awesome. It isn't on my 78 Pinto. Optional extra maybe. Nah, I was only responding to that person, not the op. Get tint? If the windshield wasn't tinted, you'd probably get sunburned a lot. The sunstrip does exist, yes. The sunstrip does exist, yes. I've always thought, why not have a slide-down sunscreen built into the headliner just above the windshield? Seems like an easy option. Just slide it up or down. WeatherTech sells sunshades for every window for some vehicles. I had them for my truck. Full blackout. Full security. Already built-in catalytic converter anti-theft shield. We won't need these once we stop making ICE cars. Something bolt in the under of the car that jack up your car with a press of the button. I believe super high-end cars actually have that already. 1 second, let me check. It's been 50 minutes, my guy. I want to know. If I'm not mistaken, race-spec Lamborghinis have had built-in jacks for quite a while, actually. Newer Lamborghini Huracans have a pneumatic 4-post jack that lowers when you attach an air hose to a port at the back of the car. You can watch videos of it being done on YouTube. It's pretty cool. Why would you add weight with a jack system? It's a trade-off. They're probably not that heavy, but save enough time in the pit lane to be worth it. Jacked up the whole car in a matter of seconds. In addition to raising it, a height system that could drop the car all the way to the street to protect the catalytic converter. With an upgraded system that drops the car after the thief crawls underneath, but you'd have to pay extra for that. Hot and cold. Awesome idea. My 2013 has heated and cooled cup holders. It's not as useful as you'd think. Most cups with hot/cold liquid are insulated, and most drives in the car are too short to matter much when the cup isn't insulated. My parents had a late 90s car with a climate control register in the glove box. Both of these features seem to be mostly for bragging about rather than actual utility in my experience. In my Honda Fit there's a cup holder right in front of the heater vent. Bruh, this has existed for like 10 years or more. Both heated and cooled. Not Olympia we're displaying a number, but a full-on collimator like you have in a Hornet cockpit. Just keep all your pertinent info up there, where your eyes are supposed to be, not down the fucking integrated iPad, the bullshit OLED in the gauge cluster, or the gauge cluster. I guess related thing, but stop putting touchscreens in cars. You fucks. The HUD on my car can display speedometer, cruise set speed, auto cruise vehicle distance info, lane keeping and blind spot warnings, important road info, speed limit, school zone, etc. Red light and speed camera warnings. Mini map with GPS directions. Major warnings, low fuel, check engine, etc. Basic AV info. Obviously some of that info is limited by what the built-in nav system knows about, but the HUD is way better than the simple speedo-only models of the past. I always thought it would be nice to have a smaller version of the backup camera on display while driving forward, at least the ability to make it an option. My backup camera covers my blind spot fairly well. Newer trucks actually have that if you are towing a trailer. A lot of newer SUVs and trucks are coming with digital rear view mirrors. Some cars now have cameras on the mirrors that cover your blind spots. They display automatically in the gauge cluster or center screen when you activate your turn signal. Possibility of vertical takeoff and landing. There is a company that is trying to produce that now. They say it will be available in 2030. But I seriously doubt it. I saw the story on CNBC or Fox Business just a couple of days ago. Ejector seat. Just eat your passenger if they become unruly. That'll teach them to touch the radio. James Bond DB7 had this, of course. Ejectocito, cause UV ray windows that'll darken when it's really hot outside. I want ones that will darken in the one spot that the sun is without completely blinding you. Right now I need to drive slowly and hope that my limited vision is enough to avoid collisions. It'd also be nice to darken in the rear view mirrors when high beams are on behind you at night too. Problem with that? Sunlight is usually hitting the whole window. The one spot you see depends where your head is. Doesn't glass already block UV? Like the windows in a 787 Dreamliner? That's a good idea. I'm not sure what that is, but if it's possible, it'd be a fine idea. It's Boeing's newest wide-body jet. Instead of typical window shades that slide down, there's a button that allows you to tint the window to dim it. Here's an explainer article, https://simplifying Boeing 787 dimmable windows / brake lights that progressively brighten as you increase pressure on the brake. People ride their brakes instead of deaccelerating. With that technology, you could predict the car you are following easier. Bright red would indicate that they are coming to an emergency brake slam stop. I prefer a light brightness as well as size. Have a light go across the whole back window. Little bit of brakes. Small section of lights. Hard brakes. The whole line lights up and is bright red. I've thought about this as well. Someone back in the 80s invented something similar. The brake lights would blink slowly at light braking but more rapidly the more the brakes were applied. What are the cons? Less accidents. Probably just a lot more expensive to make and maintain. I think just a pressure sensor connected to the electrical harness would be one function, then the other would be a dimmer on the brake lights. I'm not an engineer, so I'm not sure. But I can see how in the 80s that would be high maintenance. Is actually brake, not brake. Brake means broken and brake means to slow. Urge. Thanks. Oh man, that's good. I can get this stuff from the store across the street. But thank you for the Reddit bartering. I don't think you'll last long. Where do you live? Alberta, Canada. I do not think that would be a good idea. The brain notices drastic differences in things easier than gradual ones. That immediate red full brightness light says stopping or slowing to your brain, and you react the same either way. Increased attention to the car ahead of you. Now, on the other hand, perhaps flashing mode when depressed hard enough would be a secondary "oh shit, I need to brake now" mental indicator. But that might still have the unwanted effect of your brain getting accustomed to just red means kinda slowing down. Good points. I suppose you could have it go through shades of yellow, orange, red. Or whatever is optimal. Ability to move sideways like a crab. This is a feature of the new Hummer EV. Some EVs can do tank turns too. The thwapper. Windshield wipers can get iced up while you're driving and cause wipers not to function well. We have to jump out of car, pull the wipers up and let them go with a thwap. That breaks off the ice. We need to be able to thwap them with a push of a button. Somebody invent the thwapper. LED signage to tell other motorists they drive like a chew and tea. A periscope camera that transmits images to you. As a non-SUV, I can never tell if I'm stopped for a legit reason, or because someone is being a moron. Similarly, would love to see the traffic situation when I'm stopped dead, which lane should I get in, etc. Recon drone. I used to have a sporty car, it drove me nuts that I'd probably make better time in my SUV, because I'd eventually wake up and realize that the traffic jam in front of me going 10 under is really only one car. This is literally the story of my life a few times a week. Teleportation device and or faster than light gadgetry. I think fridges should be standard to be able to keep drinks cool on long trips. Would be so handy. A speedometer for oncoming, all directions, cars. Proximity chat with other vehicles in traffic over Bluetooth. Some sort of signal, like a blinking light or similar, that lets drivers of other vehicles know that you are planning to turn or change lanes. And it should come on in the planning phase, not like halfway into the lane, blink. A massive joystick-controlled hand that extends outside the car to flip off, slap, punch, or otherwise harass other drivers and potentially pedestrians. A car that doesn't have planned obsolescence. Front-mounted machine guns. What about tailgaters? A highly customizable dash with adjustable widgets. Similar to an iPhone's widgets, but more car-centric and travel-oriented. Apple CarPlay is this very thing. You turn blinkers. One extra click down or up signals to oncoming and perpendicular traffic you are U-turning. My 1987 Supra had a dash light to indicate if one of your taillight bulbs was burned out. Each taillight had two bulbs, so if one burned out you had notification and still had a dimmer functioning taillight. Strange so few cars since had that feature. My 1967 Ford would just blink super fast if a bulb was out on that side. Kind of genius, really. Really cool feature, especially for that year. But checking the taillights is easy, and I've made it a habit to do this every now and then. Brake lights, however, just a simple test switch in the trunk would go a long way. And on motorbikes a backup taillight would make so much sense. My 05 330i has that integrated with the door open signal. I think it's really nice. A button to turn off all of the buzzers and the chimes, and a retro mode that turns off all driving assists. Some mechanism that won't let the driver close the door if a baby is still in the backseat. The driver would have to acknowledge it somehow to continue closing the door. We should already have something to address hot car child deaths by now. I got this one. Brake lights that fill up like a bar the harder you brake. Like 1 bar for a tap, but 5 bars for a full-on emergency brake or something like that. Adaptability features for the disabled to be standard, and not super expensive aftermarket features / add-ons. Visual projection of stopping distance on the road before you, such as a laser line or whatever. An AI that talks to you while driving. As an extrovert, I like talking to people. And when I have to drive several hours somewhere alone, I may just go insane. Just make sure you get the Knight Industries 2000. Not the Knight Automated Roving Rover. There were some nasty bugs in that model kit. Just make sure to avoid car. And Goliath. Goliath is harmless. Just a great big truck with a molecular bonded shell, that's all. Mind you, Goliath's drivers are another story. Many modern cars do have Apple Siri or Amazon Alexa as part of their infotainment. I was thinking more along the lines of a sentient AI. Maybe not the best idea since it's sentient. I've seen too many sci-fi movies to know how well that'll turn out. Me, turn left Hal. Car, I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. Standardization and modularity. Standardization like PCs. So if you have a Ford and want a Honda engine, it would bolt right in. If you want Lexus seats in your Hyundai or the front end to look like a Corvette, those parts would bolt on. Modularity. Years ago, Mercedes made a racing car that was fully modular. The whole front end of the vehicle, including engine, transmission, and hood/fenders, could be quickly swapped with 4 bolts. They had quick connectors for fuel lines and so forth. So if your engine blows up, just swap the whole front module. A good steering wheel that doesn't fly off when I'm driving. No space for mother-in-law. Teacher's pet. Here's a bright idea: the ability for you to get in your car, turn it on, and not have the volume come on at full blast. A hole you can open under the driver's seat to poop in an emergency. Like to scoot down into the driver's side floor, pop a latch, and let her rip. Here you go. https://www. techkeblog.com/car seat with built-in toilet might be strangest invention ever / I swear if I'm on my motorcycle and my wheels slip out from under me because of a turd. Be prepared for the backsplash when you hit a pothole. Reddit-style downvote system. Accumulate enough downvotes and your license is suspended. You looked at Black Mirror's social credit score episode and didn't see anything wrong with it? Just like Reddit, I'm sure that'd get abused. This person has done nothing wrong, but I don't like their vehicle because it's douchey / I can't afford it / it's a truck / gas guzzler / no one needs to go that fast / etc. etc. Or drive through the wrong neighborhood with a political bumper sticker that's not popular there. How dare that person support that candidate? Report. 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 Have fun walking. Right? Those wheels / tires are ugly. Who'd drive that? Downvote. Just limit the number of votes you get per day, so you don't want to waste them. Asshole reporting feature, idiot. Won't drive if you're high or drunk. Lol, how would it possibly know whether you're drunk or not? Install a full blood testing unit in the car? Some alcoholics have to have breathalyzer units added to their cars. If there's alcohol in their breath, the wheel locks. If they came in capsules like DBZ, It might exist, but it's not widespread. But headlights that turn into a turn so you can see what you are turning into, not just what is straight ahead. Onboard pneumatic jacks, so if you need to change a tire, you don't have to mess with those stupid unstable ones with the weird crank system. With a decent sized footpad too, so it works on soft ground. A warning system that reads the traffic lights so people get alerted to yellow/red lights. Not tying it into the braking system, there are some very good reasons for needing to go through a red light if it's safe, but perhaps just a gentle nudge to account for distracted drivers. First two already exist. Not sure about the third. The jack already exists? I mean, I know in race cars, just meant civilian use. Fingerprint unlock and start. Self-clicking/locking seatbelts. Some sort of a put-away tray to eat inside the car comfortably. Built-in trash can so that cup holders can actually be used to hold cups and not wrappers. Inbuilt wireless charging spot. Front seats with 180-degree swivel to turn back. Parents with small kids would definitely love this. This existed in the past. A lot of cars already have wireless chargers. In fact, the Lamborghini Urus even reminds you that your phone is on the charger when you exit the vehicle. Facial recognition start. My phone knows me. Why can't my car? Car shuts off if you touch your phone. All you assholes who can't pay attention in traffic for staring at that damn phone get on my fucking nerves to no end. Some IoT treatment to vehicles. I want read-only statuses so I can configure my own notices/alarm via my own smart home system just by parking nearby my own router Wi-Fi. Someone's window is down and it's past 6 o'clock. Send notice. Window down and it's going to rain. Send alarm. Door left open for more than 15 minutes. Send alarm. Someone's tank is low. Send notice. Someone's tire is low. Send notice. Etc. etc. Something not for controlling the vehicle, just to help me avoid situations. I guess this would only work on analog speedometers, but back when I worked on the old boo-boo bus, I always thought it would be neat if the needle in the speedometer would freeze in the event of a serious accident. Because when it counts the most, the drivers are fucked up and often wouldn't be able to tell you how fast they were going/situation, which is helpful in all sorts of ways. That would be cool. Most newer cars have a black box of sorts. Starts, runs, drives. I must have those or it's not worth it. When I go in reverse, the speedometer needle rotates in reverse. Bueller. Inbuilt dash cam. Tesla has this. Real cell phone holder, not add-ons. A braking indicator on the front, so oncoming drivers know if someone is braking. Might be helpful if you're trying to judge if you can make a turn in time. Simple electric car. Like roll-up windows and shit. Anti-gravity mode. Back to the Future 2 said we were all supposed to have flying cars 7 years ago. Not a driver, but from what I've observed, the ability to look to your right or behind you would be super practical to not kill cyclists when turning right. Some sort of indication to let people know where you're going. Most modern cars have indicators on the mirrors that alert the driver to someone in their blind spot or next to them. Some even have dooring prevention now, I think Volvo. All the tech in the world doesn't matter though if the person doesn't pay attention. Reliability. Lexus has joined the chat. Speed limiter. Just like a cruise, but the other way around. Set the speed, and you can drive the car without going over the set speed. Drive around town, hit the HW, even traffics. No more speeding tickets. Growing up, my dad had an old Buick that had a buzzer with a twist knob on the speedometer. You would set it to a given speed and it would buzz if you exceeded it. Didn't know they ever did one. At the idea. A sporty car in traffic cruises is no help, but I often find myself speeding when it opens back up. I want all the specs available. You can tell me oil pressure is low, so just allow me to see the oil pressure all the time. I want to see transmission fluid levels/temps. If I have to go through some settings, just let me see it. I know some cars have it, but it should be required for all cars. Heated windscreen washer nozzles. Doesn't matter how much antifreeze goes in the washers, those buggers always freeze up if it's cold enough, or with external snow/ice. A chaining function for vehicles in the commuter lane, where once you signal and enter the train lane, all the vehicle's coordinate speed and distance for maximum speed and safety. Also, I laser beams to burn out high beams in my face for more than 3 seconds. I don't care if they're not labeled high beams. Any blue tinted light more than X lumens gets the burn. The front windshield needs a floating translucent blob that tracks the sun when you are driving. Not new features, but a lack of them. A basic, bare-bones vehicle designed to be easy to maintain with simple methods to access and replace parts and a low reliance on computers and electronics. Yes, thumbs up. Retractable spikes to deter bad drivers. A device that delivers an unpleasant but not dangerous electric shock to would-be thieves. Bluetooth that actually works. I noticed for about a year that new cars would turn off one headlight if the turn signal was on. I thought that was genius. What happened to that? I hate when I'm waiting to pull out into a road, and waiting for the one car to pass me, and they turn on the road on. It's like, damn it. I could have gone if you'd have signaled, but sometimes I noticed they were signaling, but I couldn't see because of the gigawatt headlights. A signal to let others behind you know that you stopped for a pedestrian. I find lots of drivers behind me lose their minds when I stop for a pedestrian. And I'm not stopping for jaywalking or anything. I only stop at designated crosswalks and lights. When making a turn, for example, when there's a pedestrian. Even then, people get very upset. Squat and anchor option. When you park, the car squats down and shoots anchors into the ground, so it's impossible to get under it and steal the cat. It's also impossible to jack it up or tow it away. And if someone breaks into the car, let the trunk monkey handle it. A HUD that displays turn off your high beams, asshole on my rear window. And a powerful rear-facing spotlight that I can turn on to blast the guy when he refuses to turn them off. Bring back the wing window. An ashtray. Headlights that turn with a wheel so you can see better around turns at night. Edit till these already exist. Neat. Although it's just another thing I independently invented in my head that already exists. Already exists on a bunch of models. Already exists. Fancy systems turn the lights with the wheels. Less fancy systems simply turn on the corresponding fog light in sharper turns. That's useful for, say, parking at night. I could be mistaken here, but I think Subaru has something similar to this on some models. Or at least we're testing it. I remember reading something along these lines a few years back. My 2006 Lexus has this. It's called AFS. It's been a thing for about 6-7 years now. Putting airbags or something similar in the door for when the car gets T-boned. Car doors are just terrible at absorbing the shock from an accident, and the door would get too heavy if it was filled with metal. Don't most cars have those now? Ejection seats. Airplane mode. Automatic turn signal. A little indentation just in front of the gas pedal so I can stop wearing out the heels of my shoes. Rear view mirror that goes up and down so I can see the whole windshield. A high pressure water jet attached to a robotic arm on the roof. I fucking hate cleaning my car. No car washes in India. Just bring back the ball chiller vent. A feature that pops the tires of people who drive like jackasses. Standard electric plugs inside and on back bumper. Death ray. Screenless dash, so there is nothing distracting me from actually driving. Catapult seats. Doors that can be opened smoothly and just enough to get out and without banging into the car next to you. I've always wondered how much more efficient highway driving could be if each vehicle was required to have a small screen somewhere near their license plate that displays their current speed to the driver behind them. Yellow numbers for normal driving, and they turn green to indicate that the vehicle is using cruise control. Could even turn red under braking, depending on how distracting this is. Good sound insulation in non-premium cars. A good driver. How about wireless charging ports for any smartphone? Lots of new cars have wireless charging. Oh well, I didn't know that. Cheers, have a nice day. A periscope. Where I live, there are intersections where it's hard to see if it's safe to cross. Sometimes you don't see cars approaching until you're halfway into crossing. But if you had a camera like 5 feet above your car, you get a bird's eye view. Curb Your Enthusiasm had an episode where Larry had one installed in his car, but I forget what went wrong with it. If I had the technology, I'd have the camera transmit the image to a HUD on the windscreen so you wouldn't have to actually look into the periscope like they do in submarines. When they made cars last, not including the Ford Pinto, electrical cars that run at least as far on one charge as your average current diesel. Reasonable prices for them. Built-in odd detector to be able to avoid. Automatic dimming headlamps. WTF, they don't have this yet? You mean automatic high beams? This is a common feature, 2 of my cars have this. Autopilot, so I can nap. Tesla drivers have joined the nap. Ejector seat. A caution indicator with yellow road caution lights like on a racetrack. So when there's a crash, the freeway flashes yellow lights on the side and in your vehicle so everyone slows down and no passing or lane change under yellow. A Siri connected message board front and back so I could say thank you if someone pulls over, or please let me pass. I would like to see them produce a new car that has keys that I can get copied at a hardware store for $3. Walnuts that grow on the interior roof of the car in case you want a snack. Also a popcorn machine in the dash. Embedded window defrosters like my rear windshield has. But for my front windshield, I can defrost the rear one with electric heat but gotta scrape/use hot air on the front ones. It's dumb and I hate it. Paintball cannon. The mold signal. Or the I have to go somewhere fast signal, so that people see that they have some reason to drive as they do. Built-in adjustable and self-cleaning flashlight below the steering wheel. If I can test my blood glucose on my skin, it's possible to test for alcohol or drugs also. I want my front window to blacken out xenon lights blinding me. Track and blot. Make it happen. Wheels turning 90 degrees so you can drive side to side and make parallel parking super easy. Cell phone lockbox. The car won't start unless you put your phone into it. Bumblebee. From Transformers. Included dash cams. It would resolve so many arguments and insurance issues. But I'm sure insurance companies have some kind of ban against it so that it gets them more money. A crowd control gun. A tease made. A holder for a roll of paper towels. Missiles. Too small. So when you get in there, you're like, if the steering wheel fly off, I'm toast. An eject button for the passenger seat and back seats. Affordable price. I want it to fly. If you ever have to go somewhere, punch in the destination, and the GPS will draw a straight line to it. Your car will start flying straight upwards until it reaches a certain altitude. You'll share altitude with other cars flying in near parallel direction, so you can never collide. Obviously, every car would be communicating with each other to find out when you can safely ascend/descend. Hell yeah. A cassette player, will you believe? UK. How about one that used to exist but no longer, side mirrors on the front fenders as opposed to the doors? Some kind of universal device to alert drivers when an emergency vehicle is near and from what direction it's coming from when it lights or sirens are on. Sometimes you can't hear or see them too well in crowded or loud cities, and some higher-end cars are so good at canceling outside noise what seems like a mile away is less than a block. More air vents. Bring back the ball chiller. Put them above the back seat passengers. Put them in the damn seats, I don't care. I don't know if it's a feature on more modern cars, but I've always wanted a car that turns on and off the headlights automatically when it's day and night. My car does this. It's a 2011 Ford. A place where you store your device and the screen locks so you can't look at it. If you try to drive the car without, the car won't start. Hopefully we can do something to stop people from looking at their phone all the time when they drive. The ability to turn wheels sideways and park in between cars with a sidecar for better visibility. Fly. One button to honk and another to honk more nicely. Self-destruct sequence. My 10-year-old Mustang has that one. It's nice. How did it take you more than 1.5 seconds in the car to no gas, right? Seriously, if you're that forgetful, then don't drive. Massage chair car seats. Seat coolers for leather seats. Retractable cup holders that can also be size adjusted. All of this has existed for a very long time in non-broke-ass cars. I'd like a broke-ass car. Keep all your luxury bullshit. Okay. They don't make broke-ass cars anymore. For them to be replaced by trains. A steering wheel that doesn't fly off and not enough space for mother-in-law. 1. A rear beam meant to shine on cars behind you with high beam or headlights set at a high angle. 2. A reminder light to remind those behind you not to get too close. And set on auto. Yes, you can lightly brake, but they don't seem to understand. A nuclear explosion. /TP at S insert name. Cell phone jammers for as soon the car is put in drive. As a motorcyclist, this would be a welcome thing.